Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here at Mad About Skin, we're passionate about helping you to get the most out of your skincare. So if you haven't already, now's a fantastic time to join us on this journey. Click the link below, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, you won't miss out on any of our amazing content. And in our video today, we're going to be talking about tackling sensitive skin. This is also going to include conditions such as rosacea, eczema, dermatitis, what we call compromised skin conditions. We've had an awful lot of requests from our subscribers around how that are living with these things such as either skin sensitivity or things like conditions like rosacea or dermatitis, how you can tackle them, what some of the causes are, and really get to the bottom of what we can do to improve our skin's tolerance to sensitivity and improve some of these conditions. As always, I just say this: if you are under the supervision of a professional who has seen you face to face, there is no better way of diagnosing someone than with a face-to-face appointment. So if you've seen someone face-to-face and they've diagnosed your condition and come together with a treatment package for you, please stick rigidly to that and don't use this as an alternative to that, because however qualified someone is over the internet or on a video, there is no substitute for seeing someone face to face and speaking to a dermatologist or a esthetician about that. So please, if you've done that, continue with your treatment program. If you haven't, and these conditions are becoming what I would class as life-limiting, so they are really impacting your self-esteem or your ability to enjoy a normal life, go and see a dermatologist and an esthetician. Go face-to-face and let them diagnose the condition, because obviously understanding what the condition is is the first step in treating it. Make sure you get a proper diagnosis and a proper set of treatments. What this video is designed for is people with low level to medium sensitivity, maybe light, early stage rosacea, things like that. And what we can do to really just help them spot those lower level. If it's become quite advanced, I don't think this video is going to be suitable for you. So, all that being said, let's crack straight on and say, so what are the causes of skin sensitivity, rosacea, and other skin conditions? Well, a lot of it comes down to the products we use, the contents of those products, environmental factors, but also things like hormonal, genetics, and things like that. The skin has an acid mantle, which is a layer of oils and mixed with sweat to create a layer of acidity across the skin, which is more acidic than it is alkaline. And what that does is it helps keep in check. It helps to keep out a number of bacteria that would otherwise enter the skin. It also helps to keep in check the bacteria and the fungus which are on our skin. So certain bacteria can only breed in certain pH conditions. They tend to be the ones we don't want breeding on our skin, tend to be able to breed in alkaline conditions. So our skin, being slightly acidic, prevents that. And it is a perfectly balanced, outer layer to our skin. And when that becomes compromised, then we can start to see sensitivity, we can start to see redness, breakouts, anything like that. So what we want to do is preserve the acid mantle, preserve the skin barrier, and be able, in all the products that we use. Sometimes because we're too harsh with our products, we use the wrong products, but also because of environmental factors. So things like sun damage, pollutants, excess free radicals, any of these things can have an impact on our skin barrier function. That in turn can lead to increased sensitivity, redness, breakouts, rosacea, flare-ups of existing skin conditions, and all these things need to be stopped. We can do an awful lot to prevent that. So what I'm going to do is go through a few do's and don'ts, and then I'm going to break that down into a whole skincare routine with product recommendations for someone with sensitive or rosacea, low-level rosacea. If you've tried any of these products, I'd love to know. And also, if you've tried anything that works that I miss out on here, please, guys, let me know. I'm always open to recommendations. But let's start with a few don'ts. And I'm going to start with the don'ts because these are huge, I think, if you're tackling sensitivity and skin conditions, which is don't have too many steps in your skincare routine. I see loads of people out there with their 10 steps, their 15 steps, their 18 steps. A skincare routine doesn't ever need to have that many steps. But if you have got skin sensitivity, you really need to be stripping back and limiting the numbers of products you're using. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, a lot of these products have recurring ingredients in, so a lot of them will have low levels of preservatives, they might have low levels of fragrance, they might have low levels of colorant. And what will happen is if you use 10 products with low levels of each of these things in, the cumulative effect of that is actually quite a high dose of those things, if that makes sense. Whereas if you use 4 products with low levels of these in, you're not actually getting much of a concentration of them. Secondly, often if you've got sensitive skin, you're going to be more reactive to certain products. So if you're using 10 or 12 products in a skincare routine and you have a reaction to one of them, it's going to be hard to tell which one of those 12 products it is. If you've only got 4, it's much easier to isolate which one it is, strip it out of your routine and replace it with something that isn't. So I think a lot of with things with sensitive skin is trial and error, and you really need to be able to eliminate the things which are causing the sensitivity. That's much harder to do in a really extensive skincare routine. It also goes without saying that the more steps you have in it, the more chance for sensitivity and irritation and reactions to occur. So I'd strip it right back to basics, to what is actually essential in your skincare routine. Secondly, on this channel I always say don't use fragrance. It's not necessary. It's really just a marketing gimmick to get you to buy the product over another product. However, most people are absolutely fine with fragrance. It's just not ideal, but it's not going to do any harm. If you've got sensitive skin or rosacea, it is an absolute no-no. So if you are sensitive and you are using a product with even a whiff of fragrance in, toss it out. There is just no point in exposing your skin to ingredients fragrances which are known to create dryness and sensitivity. They upset the balance of the skin. You're more likely to have a reaction to them. It is just not worth it. So obviously, people who don't have sensitive skin, I'd say stay away from fragrance where you can, but we all like a nice smelling product. If you have sensitive skin, it is a no-no. You need to strip that out of your routine. And third is don't scrub. I know rosacea comes in a number of forms. You might get a slightly acneic form of rosacea where you do get those pimples, those bumps, those whiteheads. You might not. You might just get the red, the flushness, the dilated capillaries leading to the blood flow rushing to it, which gives you that redness. Looks like you're having a flush. If you have very acneic rosacea, the temptation is to scrub and scrub and scrub at that area. That is the absolute last thing you should be doing, because by scrubbing, you're impairing the acid mantle of the skin barrier. You're tearing it apart in effect, and you're damaging the delicate balance of the skin. I always say avoid manual exfoliants because that scrubbing is damaging to the skin. I stand by that, but again, for people with sensitive skin, this is even more of paramount importance. Do not scrub your skin. Everything should be treated super gently in a super hygienic environment. And what really should just be good skin practice for all of us, irrespective of skin type, is essential for people with sensitive skin and rosacea. So they're the tips. I think, keep going with products that work. We all get bored of products. We like to mix things up. We see something advertised. We think, oh, let's try that. Something new. I'm as guilty of it as anyone. However, if you've got sensitive skin and you find something that works, stick with it. Because you know you're not sensitive to it, you know you're not reactive to it, and you know it works for your skin type. So more so than with any other skin type, stick with the products that work and don't switch it up too much. There's this myth that your skin becomes accustomed to products and stops working. What a load of old tosh. I don't know who came up with that ridiculous idea, but your skin doesn't become immune to stuff. Your skin doesn't become too tolerant of products. They don't stop working after a certain while. It's a myth. You absolutely can keep using the same products for years and years and years, and if you find one that works, stick with it and keep using it. Do keep a trigger diary. This is something I think that's really important for people with rosacea that's just been diagnosed or just coming to terms with the fact they have rosacea. So a trigger diary is something where every time you have a flare-up, you document the activities and the foods and the products used around that period of time. over a number of flare-ups, you'll maybe start seeing recurring themes. Some people might find it's hot drinks is something that's quite common. They might find it's a particular product. If it's shortly after you've done your skincare routine, it might be a product within that that's causing it. So keeping a trigger diary is like a dermatologist 101. They'll tell you, document everything which happened around that time, and then over a period of time you can work out what are those potential factors, eliminate them, and see if the issue goes away. That's the best way of doing sort of an intuitive elimination process on that. So definitely keep that diary. And the third do is love your skin, because do you know what? I know, sensitivity sucks. Rosacea is, I've got family members with rosacea. I'm lucky enough to not have it myself, though there is a genetic element to it, so who knows. But I do have family members with it. I know how embarrassing it can be. You're having a whale of a time with your family or your friends, having a meal. You have something that's slightly hot, or you have a glass of wine and that's your trigger or whatever, and suddenly you're beetroot red. And I know how demoralising it can be. It doesn't, however, it's not the end of the world. We still should love our skin. There's plenty of things you can do, and I'm going to talk you through a skincare routine, so keep watching. We'll talk you through a skincare routine and my product recommendations, so don't fear, there's plenty you can do, but never get into that stage that I know I got when I had really bad acneic skin in my teens, where I actually hated my skin, and I was quite abusive towards it, and I use that term, I don't use that term lightly. It was all the heavy scrubbing and scratching and the picking. It was a form of abuse to the skin, really, because I hated it that much, and I don't want anybody to get into that. So it's not helpful for our mental health and for our well-being, but also it's not helpful for your skin. It will not make the problem better. Loving your skin is the way forward, and hopefully we're going to go through a routine now which can support that. So, cleanser. Well, through all of this routine you're going to see pH being key. Now, one thing you'll see on a lot of products is pH balanced. What a load of tosh. Means nothing. Rubbish. Balanced to what? I don't know. Does it mean it's neutral, pH 7? Well, that's really bad. Actually, you want your products to be slightly on the acidic side. Your skin is about a 5.5 on the pH, which is a weak acidic consistency. That is where you should be aiming your products at. Now, if you go anything more than a 7 or an 8, which is neutral to slightly alkaline, it's actually going to be quite damaging for your skin. So really keep things on the acidic spectrum. Now, no products, with the exception of very few, actually document what the pH is of that product. I think that's a shame, but I can understand why they don't, because it's very niche that people would want to know that. However, some things to look out for in a cleanser is surfactants, which make the product lather. We're very engineered to liking a lather. We like that soapy consistency. If we don't get that, we feel that we're not clean. That's often created by products which are which are alkaline in nature. Because of the alkalinity of it, it's more likely to be affecting our acid mantle, our skin barrier as well, and that's going to be creating more problems than it solves. So go for something that's not foaming. If you've got sensitive skin or you've got rosacea, foaming is the worst thing you can have. It's going to strip the skin and it's going to impact the pH of the skin. So really avoid that. Some of the things you could go for is a Squarlane cleanser. I've recommended The Ordinary on this channel before. They do a Squarlane cleanser, which is fantastic. It doesn't have any of those pH impacting ingredients in it. It's not quite the pH of the skin, but it's not too far off. It doesn't foam. It's great consistency and it's not drying, so that's fantastic. Another one, which is actually quite reasonably priced as well, is the Paulas Choice Calm Cleanser. That is specially designed with added ingredients to make it calming to the skin, to take down any redness, and to really promote hydration through the cleansing step, which I think is going to be fantastic with anyone with slightly red skin as a result of their sensitivity. So I go for one of those two, either the Ordinary Squarlane or the Paulas Choice Calm. Either's fantastic. I'll leave a link below, but that's really your cleansing step. As soon as you've done your cleansing, the temptation is to rub with a towel. We all rub, we're in a rush, you want to get the skin dry so you can do your next step. Don't. I would say dab, and dab very gently with a towel, a clean towel. We're not going to wash our towels every day, I understand that, but it would help if a cleaner towel the better. So obviously change your towels regularly and just dab the skin. Don't dab it until it's completely dry, because if that is, you've rubbed it too hard. Let the air dry the last little bit, or the last little bit of moisture sink into the skin. That's absolutely fine. And move on to the exfoliation. Now, this is one thing I often get questions from people with sensitive skin. Should you still exfoliate if you've got sensitive skin or rosacea? And the answer is totally yes. So you've just got to be very careful with how you do it. So if you've got sensitive skin, you don't want to be going in with a daily exfoliator, which is suitable for people with combination to oily skin, for example. It's going to strip whatever moisture is left in the skin. It's going to impair the barrier even further. What you want to be doing is working with the skin to remove those dead skin cells, because you might have sensitive skin, but you still want that vibrant, luminous skin which comes from exfoliation. But you need to use the right exfoliator. So the most gentle of the acid exfoliators, and I say acid exfoliators because it's got to be chemical. A manual exfoliator is a no-no anyway, but for a sensitive skin type is going to be horrendous. So definitely not a manual. Use a chemical exfoliator, an acid. The most gentle one is lactic acid. Now, the reason that's particularly gentle is, of all the acids, the molecules are the largest, so it penetrates the least, well, to the least depth, should we say. So with that, you get a much gentler exfoliation. Now, if you're starting it anew, I would actually just use it once a week. Build it up to twice a week, then 3 times, then 4 times. And see, I wouldn't go past the 3 or 4 times a week. Some people like to exfoliate daily. I can, my skin can tolerate it. I use a weak exfoliant daily. That's fine. If you've got sensitive skin or rosacea, I don't think that's ever going to be possible. I wouldn't push it. So use a lactic acid exfoliator once, twice a week. If you want to go to 3 times, that's your prerogative, but listen to your skin and what it's saying to you. But do that so gradually over time. But you can still enjoy the benefits of exfoliation. So don't just write that off. Use that. In terms of actives, now, again, it's very, as all skincare is personal, but it depends on what you can tolerate and what your skin can tolerate. But one active which is fantastic, and I think is the gold standard when it comes to rosacea, is azelaic acid. So azelaic acid is it's an antioxidant. It'll support some of the exfoliation, but the key thing in it is it's antibacterial. So what that'll do is, if your rosacea presents with pimples, with whiteheads, with bobbles under the skin, this is going to be wonderful in treating that. And I've had so many people that have tried it and said, this is the first product that's actually had a difference to my rosacea. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought nothing would work, and this is the first product I've tried that has actually had an impact. So azelaic acid. The Ordinary do an azelaic acid suspension in what I think is the right concentration. It's not too strong, it's not too weak, and will actually work. It's on fragrance, which is fantastic, and it doesn't have too many of the added preservatives which can impact the skin barrier as well. So I would definitely try out the Ordinary azelaic acid suspension. It is, again, I'll link it below. It's fantastic. Again, use it once or twice a week and build up. Now, this is a product which you can use daily, but that, I think, is only after you've maybe built it up for, and I'm talking 6 to 12 months. You'll start seeing results after about 8 weeks. Now, some people think that's quite a lot. I don't think that's a lot. For your skin, these products do take time to work, and you've just got to persevere with that. So give it 8 weeks. Once you've used the first bottle, you should start seeing results, so you'll know you want to repurchase it. But azelaic acid is the key active ingredient that you want in your skincare routine if you've got sensitive skin, or especially if you've got rosaic skin. Once you've done that, do come on to actually just the end, which is the SPF and the moisturizer. Now, your SPF is crucial. If you've got an impaired skin barrier or acid mantle, which you will have if you've got dry, sensitive, or compromised skin conditions such as rosacea, an SPF is even more important. Now, whether you choose to go, and there's varying different reports on this, as whether chemical or mineral sunscreen is better for people with rosacea or sensitive skin. Now, I find if my skin's impaired, if my barrier's impaired for a while, I do get sensitive skin, particularly in winter. This is another thing that can impact this, is atmospheric conditions, weather conditions. If I find that it's impacting that, I do find that a mineral sunscreen does cause me to itch and causes a bit of discomfort. Now, that could just be personal to me, but there are some reports and studies which do show that heavy concentrations of certain minerals in those sunscreens can cause an itch reaction in people with sensitive and compromised skin. So you might find a chemical sunscreen more tolerant. It's up to you really which you want to go for. Again, I would go for one that's unfragranced. So The Ordinary, this is their mineral sunscreen. This is the UV filter, SPF 30. It's cheap, it's cheerful, and it's not fragranced. It doesn't smell great, but it's not fragrance, so you're not expecting it to. It leaves a slight white cast, but nothing too bad. I use the This Works chemical sunscreen if I'm using a chemical sunscreen. That is slightly fragranced, so I'm not sure I'm going to be recommending it to you guys. I do your research, find one that works for you, but a sunscreen is essential. If you're using a mineral... throwing it around. If you're using a mineral, go for The Ordinary. If you want to go for a chemical, do some research into a fragrance-free sunscreen. Finally, your moisturiser. Now, moisturisers are difficult because people think you're fine with any moisturiser. Actually, you're really not. A lot of moisturisers impact the skin pH, which again we've talked about as being essential to preserving it as acidic, as close to the skin's acidic pH as possible. Some studies have shown that some moisturisers are actually 8 in terms of their pH, which is into the alkaline spectrum, so actually you're going to be doing quite a bit to damage and compromise the already compromised barrier function of the skin. So I would just state something totally simple. I've recommended the Cicaplast balm before on the channel. This, I don't think you're going to get better. The reason I would recommend this as a moisturiser is the pH is right, which is great. It's totally unfragranced, which is essential. And it's also got, which I think is really, really good on this, and I think it's really the least, it's got panthenol in, which is a fantastic ingredient for calming itch and irritation. With all these conditions that we talked about, you're going to get itching, you're going to get irritation. It's unpleasant, it does impact your day-to-day, and this will help to calm and soothe that in a way that's not going to add to the irritation down the line. So I honestly think this, packed with ceramides as well, which are great for repairing the barrier, I don't think you can get a better moisturiser than this. I have heard people, though I haven't tried it myself, I have heard people swear by CeraVe, which is a fantastic ceramide packed moisturiser. Certainly one that you could try. I've looked it up online. It's not fragranced. It's harder to get here in the UK, but it's not fragranced. So again, it's packed with ceramides and would work really well. So that's something you might want to consider. But that is it. That's all I would recommend you have in a skincare routine. I would recommend your cleanser, your soap-free cleanser, your light exfoliation up to 3 times a week, your azelaic active, and your SPF and moisturiser. That's 5 steps. That is more than enough for anyone with sensitive or rosacea-prone skin. If you wanted to, down the line, add in some active ingredients, such as vitamin C, which is a fantastic antioxidant, will help brighten the skin, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think you need to get on top of the sensitivity and the condition before you would even contemplate doing that. So give your body the chance to repair and start getting on top of that, and then consider adding these one at a time. The reason I say one at a time is if you start having a reaction to it or you go back to being super sensitive, take it out, stop immediately and don't use it. That way you can then, that these products in this basic routine work for you, give them 6 months to work and repair the skin, and then you can start gradually increasing the actives in your routine. I hope that makes sense. I know that's a bit of a convoluted way and people get impatient, they want to use things straight away. Look, it's not possible. If you've got sensitive skin, and certainly if you've got rosacea, it's not worth the risk to the skin barrier and setting the great work you've done back. So just bide your time with this and introduce gradually. So I guess, guys, that's it from me. But I think the simple things I'd say is think of your pH in everything. Your skin isn't a neutral pH, it's slightly acidic. It needs to remain that way. So if you see pH balanced, it doesn't mean anything. It's a marketing gimmick, so don't get allured in by that. Avoid things that are foaming, avoid things with baking soda, bicarbonate of soda and things. They're all super alkaline. They're bad for your skin anyway, but especially if you've got sensitive skin, just avoid. Something's got ceramides in, fantastic. They're going to support and build on the barrier function of the skin. So that's a fantastic addition, which is why we're saying the CeraVe is really fantastic. The Cicaplast is brilliant. Those sort of things are really going to help to support the skin. Still exfoliate, just do it in a way which is kind to your skin type, as I've gone through. So use the lactic acid and do it once a week at the start, build up to twice a week. If that's all you can tolerate, that's absolutely fine. Stop there. A 3rd time in a week might be possible, but again, play that work out what your skin's telling you. And fourth, just fragrance is a no-no. I know sometimes I come across as a bit of a killjoy when I say don't enjoy fragrance in your skincare. Most people can enjoy some element of fragrance in the skincare and it not impact their skin. If you are sensitive or you have rosacea, it is just a no. You can't do it. Avoid it. It's going to be one of the things that's causing the sensitivity and going to make it harder to cure. So guys, I hope you found that really useful. Now I know this was maybe less fun, more informative than some of the other videos I've done, but I just think there's some really key messages in there that I wanted to get out. And I've had loads of people reach out to me on Instagram, follow us at SkinMad, or on in the comments below, saying I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, and I don't know how I can improve my skin. There's loads of ways of doing it. If you follow that skincare routine that I've supported you with just there, honestly, you'll see the results, guys. Just don't be impatient. Give it the time it needs to start working, and honestly, you'll have fantastic skin. So I hope you found this really useful. Sound off in the comments below if you've used any of these products, if you think you're going to use any of them. What have you tried? Have you had any success stories? You know, these aren't the only products that are going to work. I'd like to know if you've tried other products and they have worked. Let me know, guys. I'd love to hear from you. Give this video a thumbs up, and we'll be posting again tomorrow with one of our fantastic brand reviews that you guys go wild for. So hopefully you'll enjoy this one as much as the other ones we've done. I look forward to seeing you in that video. Take care, guys. Bye.